Though I know I'm studying silently, I have this chapters in front of me where I'm studying Buddhism, where we can see origin of Buddhism and other sector as well as that is Jainism. So, what were the major causes of emergence of this Buddhism? Growing skepticism about ritualism in the Orthodoxy, Kshatriyas and Brahminical dominance, opposition to animal sacrifice, especially cattle, which hindered the agrarian economy, supported by Vaishyas and due to emphasis on non-violence, easing trade and reducing wars. These sects rejected Dharmashastra's ban on interest-based lending, rejected the Varna system, elevated status of Vaishya. In the studies of Buddhism and Jainism, we'll first go through Buddhism. Here we are discussing the first concept as life of Buddha. Life of Buddha. Buddha born in 1563 BCE at Lumbini, Nepal. In the Sakya clan, father of Buddha is Shuddhodana, the Kapilavastu ruler, and mother is Mahamaya of Koshala. Was fostered by Mahaprajapati Gautami, the first bhikkhuni here. He was married to Yashodhara. His son was Rahula. He encountered four main four main aspects that old man, sick man, corpse, and ascetic, led to the renunciation at the age of 29, that is Mahabinishkramana, practiced astuceries under Alar Kalam and Uddaka Ramapitra. Also, the Shubhada was the first, and see here we have seen that we are seeing the text that also Shubhada was the last person to get enlightened from Gautam Buddha. The doctrine of momentariness is said to have been propounded by Buddha, which explains the relevance of existence within time. He attained nirvana under Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya at the age of 35. The present Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya belongs to fifth generation located on the banks of Niranjan River. Next concept here is after enlightenment. First ceremony of Buddha was at Saranatha, which is known as Dharmachakra Pravartana. The lion capital of Ashoka at Saranatha marks this event. The prominent disciples of Buddha were Ananda, Sariputta, Mahamoggallana, Mahakachya. Maximum ceremonies of Buddha were given at Shravasti. Buddha was passed away at Kushinagar in 483 BCE, which is known as Mahaparinirvana. Last words to his followers by Buddha were, "Be lamps until yourselves." It's very meaningful. Next concept here is symbolism in Hinayana versus Mahayana, where we can see here in the Hinayana we can see symbolic forms. In Mahayana we see that there are figurative forms. The birth was indicated by elephant and lotus in Hinayana, whereas in Mahayana birth of Buddha was indicated by Maya's dream. We can see for renunciation in Hinayana, horse was a symbol, and whereas in Mahayana, Buddha in the monk dress along with the horse was seen. Enlightenment of Buddha, according to Hinayana, was indicated by people tree, whereas in Mahayana it is by Bhumi Sparshamudra. The first ceremony, according to Hinayana, was indicated by wheels which has 8 spokes having 8 paths. As in Mahayana, the first ceremony was Dharmachakra Pravartana Mudra. The death of Buddha was indicated by death in the is indicated in Hinayana by the symbolic stupas, whereas in Mahayana, Mahaparinirvana Mudra lying on one side and heading head resting on the palm indicates the death. Fourth concept in this Buddhism chapter is philosophy and core doctrines. World is transit, that is anika, soulless, anatha, and full of suffering, dukkha. These three were the philosophy's core doctrines, and they rejected the extremes of luxury and asceticism. They chose middle path. They rejected the authority of Vedas, upheld the rationalism, rejected Varna system, and advocated equality amongst all. So eightfold path, that is Ashtanga Marga, where we can see we by name all these eight Ashtanga Margas are right vision, that is Samadhitti, right resolve, that is Samasankappa, right speech, that is Sama Vakya, right conduct, that is Sama Kamata, right means of livelihood, that is Sama Ajiva, right effort, that is Sama Vyayama, right mindfulness, that is Samasthiti, right meditation, that is Sama Samadhi. So these are the Ashtanga Marga for eightfold path. Four noble truths and eightfold path in Buddhism are known by these four noble truths are dukkha. Dukkha is the true sense of suffering, or the truth of suffering is by dukkha. Samudaya is origin of suffering. Nirvana is cessation of the suffering. Next one is Magga, the path leading to cessation of suffering. Next concept is code of conduct. Here is lay people, that is, they avoid theft, lies, intoxications, violence, and immorality. And for monks, they had no sexual conduct, no property, and lived communally. Next concept in the line is special features in Buddhism. Triratna in Buddhism are Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Sangha open to all. Men are initially allowed and later women were allowed via, that is Ananda. Next is Kuta Garshala, that is assembly hut for discussion were there. Buddha didn't name his successors. He said his teachings would be the guide for his followers. And we can see amongst this Buddhism, four Buddhist councils were held. The date and location, the king, president, and key events of the following Buddhist councils are: First Buddhist council was in 483 BC after Buddha's death in Rajagriha at Satpani caves. The king here was Ajatashatru. President at this council was Mahakasapa. Key events here were Upali recited Vinaya Pitaka, Ananda recited Sutta Pitaka. Second Buddhist council was held in 383 BC, that is 100 years after Buddha's death. It was held at the location Vaishali. The king at this ceremony or Buddhist council was Kalashoka. President was Sabakami. The key events of this second Buddhist council were Buddhism was split into two groups, that is, Sthaviravadians, that is, teachings of the elders were followed. Second group was Mahasangikas, that is, great community among the Buddhists. So the third Buddhist council was held at Pataliputra in 250 BC. The king here was Ashoka and president was Mugaliputta Tisa. The main key event of this Buddhist council, that is third Buddhist council, is the added Kathavatu to the Abhidhamma Pitaka. The missions sent abroad, notably to Sri Lanka, Buddhism expand beyond India for the first time from this council. The fourth Buddhist council was held in at Kundalevana, Srinagar, that is in present Kashmir, in 72 AD. The king here at this Buddhist council was Kanishka. The president was Vasumitra Sarvastivada, that is cool Ashwagosha. Ashwagosha was the vice president, Vashumitra was the president. In this Buddhist council, the Pitaka commentaries were written, Sthaviravadian's doctrine compiled as Mahabhasha. Buddhism formally divided into Mahayana and Hinayana sects during this fourth Buddhist council. As we were discussing about the Buddhist sects, we can see Buddhist sect first is Theravada and Staviravada, meaning the way of elders is an orthodox or traditional aiming to nirvana through ending kleshas. Kleshas is defilements. So, here we can see it emphasis on personal insight and critical analysis, that is Vibhajyavada, prevalent mainly in Myanmar, Cambodia, and Sri Lanka. Key texts here include Vishuddhamaga by Buddhaghosa, 5th century AD. Notable early offshoots are Sarvastivadins, Samathyas, and Vatsiputriyas, that is Pudgala theory. Mahasangikas emerged during Buddhism's first major division at Second Buddhist Council, separating from Orthodox Staviravadis, that is, way of elders. The Mahasangikas have their distinct perspectives on the nature of Buddha and concept of Arhat, anticipated development of Mahayana Buddhism. Prominent later branches included were Lokataravadians, Ekavahakas, and Kaukatyas. So, difference between the three major sects, that is Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana of this Buddhism are, we can see the classification as from anger of how what is the meaning in all of all these names, where their geographical spread was, what was their goal, and how they considered Buddha, what was the key concept of this path, how the texts were followed, what was the philosophy of this following sect. The first one amongst the three different sects of Buddhism are Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. Amongst Hinayana, we can see one by one individual. Meaning of this Hinayana is lesser vehicle, whereas Mahayana means greater vehicle, and Vajrayana means vehicle of thunderbolt. Geographical spread of the Hinayana was at Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Southeast Asia. And geographical spread of Mahayana was in China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Tibet. The Vajrayana was spread in Bengal, Bihar, Nepal, and Tibet. The goal of Hinayana was self nirvana or individual salvation. Mahayana, collective salvation through bodhisattvas. At Vajrayana, there was enlightenment through rituals and tantricism. So here they consider Buddha as, in Hinayana, they consider Buddha as an ordinary man, not defied. Whereas in Mahayana, they consider Buddha as defied Buddha, divine being. In Vajrayana, Buddha is divine and tantric deities are central. The key concept of Hinayana is to focus on arhatship, that is person and personal effort. In Mahayana, the bodhisattvas helping others, compassion over karma. Bodhisattva helping others, compassion over karma. Tantrism, rituals, and mantras were the key concepts of Vajrayana. So in Hinayana, they had focused on personal effort and arhatship. In Mahayana, they concentrated on bodhisattvas helping others. That compassion over karma was the key concept. And whereas in Vajrayana, they believe Tantrism, rituals, and mantras. Bodhisattva was not emphasized in Hinayana, whereas in Mahayana, it was central to Mahayana, compassionate being helping others. The Vajrayana, powerful figures like Tantric, Tara, Vajrapani were the powerful figures of Vajrayana sect. Key texts of this Hinayana were Pali, Pali Canon, Tripitaka. Mahayana key texts were Mula, Madhyamika, Karika, Sutra Lankara. Whereas Vajrayana, Tibetan Tantras, Vajrayana scriptures. Philosophy of Hinayana is focus on individual meditation. Principal philosophy of Mahayana was emphasis on compassion, karuna, and emptiness, shunyata. Whereas Vajrayana, the philosophy was tantric practices combining wisdom and compassion. The schools of Hinayana followed Theravada or Staviravada, whereas the schools of Mahayana followed Madhyamika, that is Yogacara and Pure Land. The schools of Vajrayana followed Tantrism, Tibetan Buddhism. The rituals followed in Hinayana are simple, simple meditation, self discipline. In Mahayana, they followed complex rituals, devotion to bodhisattvas, whereas in Vajrayana, the rituals were elaborate and mantra chanting, visualization were practiced. The prominent locations of these three sects, Hinayana was a prominent in Sri Lanka and Burma, whereas in Mahayana we can see Nalanda, Tibet, China, and Japan were the main centers. For Vajrayana, they have Vikramashala and Tibet. The patronage in this, or one patronage among all the sects is Emperor Ashoka was the great patronage of Hinayana. Mahavana was patronized by emperors and Tibetan rulers. Vajrayana was supported by Tibetan rulers, particularly in the 11th century. We can see next concept is Bodhisattvas and Mahayana deities. Bodhisattvas, amongst that Alokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, often depicted with multiple arms, symbolizing ability to reach out, help all the sentient beings. Second one is Manjushri, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, often show the holding a sword that cuts through ignorance and delusion. Third one is Tara, the Bodhisattva of protection, commonly represented in two forms. One is green Tara, protective action, and white Tara is compassionate and healing qualities. Kshitigarbha is a bodhisattva of children and protector of those suffering in hell realms. Often slow holding, they have having shown holding the staff to what is this? They often show having help being out of suffering. Next one is Maitreya. Maitreya's future Buddha, who is professed, who is professed to be appear on the earth to teach the Dharma once to teach Dharma once the teachings of the current Buddha Sakyami have been forgotten. Next is Amitabha, that is the savior Buddha, often associated with pure land Buddhism, believed to save beings who call upon his name and take them to his pure land. Next is Vajrapani, the bodhisattva of power, often depicted holding a Vajra, that is thunderbolt, symbolizing the power to overcome obstacles and protect the Dharma. Next is Akashagarbha, that is the bodhisattva of space, symbolizing boundless nature of wisdom and understanding and associated with infinite wisdom and vastness. Next is Vasudhara, the bodhisattva of wealth, prosperity, and abundance, often worshipped for material and spiritual well being. Next is Skanda, the guardian bodhisattva, often associated with protection and defense, depicted as warrior and protector against evil. Next, we can see both Buddhist literature. First among them is Tripitikas, which were written in Pali. Among them, Vinaya, first one, it outlines the discipline, that is Vinaya, required for leading a monastic life. Second is Sutta, that is they contain ceremonies delivered by Buddha divided into five Nikais: Digga, Majjhima, Samyutta, Anguttara, Khuddaka. Third one is third among the literature is Abhidhamma, deals with systematic analysis of mind, matter, and consciousness. Other texts about this Buddhism literature are Ashwagosha, who had written Buddha Charita, Saundaryananda, Nagarjuna, who had written Prajna Parmita, Madhyamika Karika, Vasubandhu, Abhidhama Gosha, Dignaga, Satanur, Manimekalai, then Lalita Vistara, Buddha's life, Samanaphala Sutta, discourses the attribute to Buddha. These are the other texts of this Buddhism literature. Next is mudras. Specifically, mudras have prominent role in Buddhism. Different mudras that represent various aspects of Buddha's life, teachings, and meditative states. Important mudras of Buddhism includes here are Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. It is touching the earth as Gautama did to invoke earth as witness to truth of his words. Next is Varada Mudra. The guest here there is fulfillment of all wishes, the gesture of charity. Dhyana Mudra, the gesture of absolute balance of meditation. The hands are relaxed on the lap and the tip of thumbs and fingers touch each other. When depicted with the begging bowl, this is a sign of head on order. Next is Abhaya Mudra, which is gesture of reassurance, blessing, and protection that is indicates do not fear. Next is Dharma Chakra Mudra. Dharma Chakra Mudra is the gesture of teaching, usually interpreted as turning the wheel of law. The hands are held level with heart and the thumbs and index fingers form the circles. Next is Vitharka Mudra, intellectual argument, discussion. The circle formed by thumbs, index finger is a sign of wheel of law. Next is Tarjani Mudra, where we can see the threat warning can be seen. The extended index finger is pointed at the opponent. Next is Namaskara Mudra, the gesture of greeting, prayer, and adoration. Buddhas no longer make this gesture because they do not have to show devotion to anything. Next is Jnana Mudra, teaching. The hand is held at the chest level and the thumb and index finger they have again formed the wheel of law. Next is Karana Mudra, which is the gesture with which demons are expelled. Next is Kshipana Mudra, two hands together in the gesture of sprinkling the nectar of immortality. Next is Uttara Bodhi Mudra, two hands placed together above the hand with index fingers together and other fingers intertwined, the gesture of supreme enlightenment. Next is Buddhist school of philosophy. There are four principal Buddhist philosophical schools which are four pillars of Buddha doctrine. First one is Vaibhishikas, that is, they believe that relative truth is what which can be broken down into the parts where ultimate truth is indivisible. Next is Sautrantikas, they accept selflessness of persons but not the selflessness of phenomena. Next is Chittamatrans, that is, they accept the selfness of both self and phenomena but believe in the true existence of mind. Next is Madhyamikas, it claims the things appear to be real and substantial but are actually without inherent true existence. Next is key terms and concepts in early Buddhism. We can see Upasaka. It is lay follower, a male lay devotee of Buddhism who follows Buddhist moral uh, prospects of but doesn't renounce household life. Okay. Next is Pari Prajika, which is wanderer, a spiritual mendicant or ascetic who renounces worldly life to see liberation, often traveling from one place to another place. Next one is Shramana, a seeker or reticent engaged in self discipline and meditation and discipline destined to from Vedic Brahminical tradition includes Buddhist, Jain, and others. Next one is Paramita, perfection. The 10 perfections or virtues like generosity, morality, patience, cultivated by bodhisattvas on the path of enlightenment. Next concept here is Samanaphala Sutta, that is fruits, are disclosed the discourse in which Digha Nikaya, where Buddhas outline the benefits, fruits of contemplative life of King Ajatashatru. Bodhisattva, enlightenment being, the one who seeks Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, practicing the compassion and wisdom. Next is Mahasangika community, an early Buddhist school formed after the first skis, emphasized on the transcendental nature of Buddha and Bodhisattva ideal. Next is Santarkshita and Deepankara, which are the scholars from the Bengal associated with the revival and transmission of Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism to Tibet. So, the Buddhist learning centers in ancient India, where the location and key features are given here. First one is Nalanda, which was located in Bihar. The key features were it was the first residential university patronized by Gupta and Pala rulers here, but more than 10,000 plus students were studying in the center. Next one is Vikramashala, which is located in Bihar, which was founded by Pala king Dharmapala. It was famous for Tantric Buddhism. Next is Takshashila, which is in Takshila, present Pakistan, which was one of the world's earliest universities. Panini and Kautilya scholars have been studying here then. Next is Odantapuri, which is in Bihar, which was established by Gopala, the Pala king. It was a center for Mahayana in the Buddhism. Next is Vallabhi, which is in Gujarat, which revealed Nalanda, specialized in Hinayana Buddhism and secular subjects. Next one is Jagadara, which is located in Murshidabad of West Bengal, which was founded by Pala King Rampal, contributed to Vajrayana Buddhist text. Next is Sompura Mahavihara, which is in Bangladesh, Paharpur, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Architecture influenced Southeast Asia. Next is Pushpagiri in Odisha, which spread of Buddhism in eastern India. Ruins found near the Lungri Hills. Next concept, we are going towards Jainism. So just quick revision is not required. Only about headings is we have seen some in the introductory part why there was an emergence of Buddhism. We have seen the life of Gautam Buddha when he was born at Nepal, Lumbini. He belonged to Sakya clan. He was born to the king. His father was Shuddhodana, who was the king of Kapilavastu. He was married to Yashodhara. His son was Rahula, and he encountered four main events in his life: old man, sick man, Pops and Astrif, which led him to renunciation and enlightenment at the age of 29. He was practicing under the Gurus Alarkaram and Uddaka and the Subodha was the last person to get enlightened from this Gautam Buddha, and he attained Nirvana under Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya at the age of 35. Now the Bodh Gaya tree, Bodhi Ruksha, is known as fifth. It was having origin of fifth generation, which is on the banks of Niranjana river. We have seen after enlightenment of Buddha, the first ceremony was at Saranatha Dharmachakra Parivartana. These are all the events, and we have seen some symbolism in Hinayana and Mahayana. Philosophy and core doctrines of this value, and four noble truths of Buddhism, and four Buddhist councils held, where we can see Buddhist sects, difference between Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, all those key concepts, principles, philosophies, and all. Buddhist literature and other all literatures we are seeing. Next is mudras. Mudras having prominence. They are especially Bhumi Sparsha Mudra, Varada Mudra, Dhyana Mudra. Somebody is liking super live. Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. ಇದು ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು, ನೀವು ಲೈವ್ ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೂಪರ್ವೈಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೊ ಮಚ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಜಾಯ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಲೈಕಿಂಗ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್. ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಲೈವಲ್ಲಿ. ಸಂಬಡಿ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಅದರ್ ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಂಗ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್. Mudras, as we are seeing mudras, Bhumi Sparsha Mudra, most first among all this concept, Varda Mudra, Jnana Mudra, Abhaya Mudra, Dharma Chakra Mudra, Vitharaka Mudra, then Jnana Mudra, Karana Mudra, Kshepa Mudra, and Uttara Bodhi Mudra. We have seen four basic schools of philosophy. The key terms in this Buddhi early Buddhism, and some key centers of learning of Buddhist in ancient India, that is Nalanda University, Vikramashila, Takshashila, Udantapuri, Jagadara, then Pushpagiri. These are all the few key highlights of Buddhism. Next, we are heading towards Jainism, where this Jainism originated. Basically, the Jaina means origin, derived from conqueror. First Tirthankara was Rishabhanatha. Last to address this Jainism in the history was Mahavira, popularly known as Mahavira, 24th Tirthankara. Emojis ಕಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸೂಪರ್ ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು, ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ವಾವ್, ನೈಸ್. ಎಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್. Mahavira, that is Nighanta Nattaputta, who was born in 450 BCE at Kundagrama near Vaishali. Okay, Mahavira was born at Kundagrama Kundagrama in 450 BCE, which is near Vaishali. Parents of this Mahavira were Siddhartha, who was Jnatrika's chief, and Trishala, who were Lichavi princess. Okay, he was the son of Lichavi princess Trishala and Siddhartha. Jamali was the first disciple of Mahavira, who said to have met him in Kundagrama. He renounced at age of 30, wandered for 12 years, and he attained Kaivalya at the age of 42. He died at the age of 72 in 468 BCE at Paupuri near Rajgira. In Jharkhand, he Nirvana place for about 20 Tirthankaras. Rishabhanatha's Nirvana is at Mount Kailash, which is revered in Jainism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Neminatha was also one of the Tirthankara whose ಊಟ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್. ಊಟ ಮುಗಿಸೇ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂತಿರೋದು. ನಿಮ್ದಾಗಿದೆನಾ? ನಿರ್ವಾಣ ಇನ್ ಗಿರ್ನಾರ್ ಹಿಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಗುಜರಾತ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಬೊಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇಮೋಜಿಸ್. ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಓದೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಸು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲೈವ್ ನೋಡಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೀಪ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಮಾಡಿ. Okay, we will see name of Tirthankara and the symbol. All those major amongst 24 Tirthankaras, we'll see the major Tirthankaras and their symbols. Rishabhanatha, who is known as Adinatha, the first Tirthankara, his symbol was bull. Next is Ajithanatha, elephant. Sambhavanatha, horse. Abhinandanatha, monkey. Sumathinatha, heron. Padmaprabha, red lotus. Suparshvanatha, swastika. Chandraprabha, moon. Suvidhanatha, crocodile. Shreyasnatha, Shrivasta. Vasupujya, buffalo. Vimalnatha, falcon. Kuntanatha, goat. Shantinatha, deer. Dharmanatha, Vajra, that is thunderbolt. Aranatha, missing an image, Nandavarta. Mallinatha, water pot. Muniswaranatha, tortoise. Neminatha, blue lotus. The 24th Tirthankara was Mahavira, who is known as Vardhaman, whose symbol was serpent, that is snake. Thank you sister. Super anta ishton sati kasi ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಶೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್. Three Ratnas or three jewels of this Buddhism sect are the Three Ratnas or three jewels are foundational principles in Jainism that a soul led to soul towards moksha, that is liberation. Threefold or three ratnas or three jewels of Buddhism are first one is right faith, Samyaka Dharshana, having true belief in teachings of Tirthankara, understanding the reality without doubts or superstitions. Right knowledge, that is Samyaka Dhyana, gaining correct and clear knowledge of Jain scriptures, free from doubt and delusion. Third is right conduct, that is Samayaga Mahavrata, practical ethical living through self discipline following five great vows. Pancha Maharatas are Ahimsa, not to kill or injure, Astya, not to steal, Satya, not to lie, Aparigriha, not to possess property. Fifth is Brahmacharya, that is celibacy, adding which was added by Mahavira. So we are just seeing some three ratnas, the three jewels of Buddhism are right faith, that is having Samayaga Darshana, right knowledge, that is Samayaga Dhyana, right conduct, that is Samayaga Maharata. Samayaga Maharata, right conduct can be followed by five great vows. They were Pancha Maharatas by name. Ahimsa. Ahimsa means not to kill or injure. Asteya means not to steal. Satya, not to lie. Aparigraha, not to possess property. Brahmacharya, which is following celibacy, which was added by Mahavira. The tenets and doctrines of this Jainism are they reject the creator, God, and Vedas. Karma determines rebirth, salvation through asceticism. Woman can't attain liberation directly. Egalitarian society rejects caste-based inequality. Agamas, Jain sacred texts. Yajurveda mentions Rishabha, Ajitanatha, and Arishtanemi in the text. The philosophy of this Jainism is dualism, making the distinction between soul, that is Jiva, and matter, Ajiva. The coming together of Jiva and Ajiva creates karma, that is action, which lead to an endless cycle of birth and rebirth. To free oneself from karma, one has to practice severe austerities and self mortifications. Next is Syadhavada, that is, all truth is relative. The doctrine that all judgments are conditional, holding good only in certain circumstances. Next is Anekatavada, multiple viewpoints reveal reality. Doctrine of non absolutism, asserting to reality is a complex and multifaceted. Next is knowledge types. Jainism recognize five types of knowledge. First is mediate, that is mati, sense-based knowledge. Second one is shruta, spiritual knowledge. Third is amongst mediate we have mati and shruta. Mati means sense-based knowledge. Shruta means spiritual knowledge. Scriptural knowledge. Second one among them is intermediate, that is immediate. Avadi. Avadi is clairvoyance knowledge. Mana Paryaya, telepathy knowledge. Okay. In that Kevalya, concise, highest form of knowledge. We see some sects and subsects of Jainism, that is Shvetambara and Digambara. Shvetambara is having white clad and Digambara sky clad. We'll see origin, leader, clothing, woman salvation, sacred text, idol representation, food for omniscient, major subsects. So, amongst Jainism, we see Shvetambara. Shvetambara origin was they stayed in Magadha under Stulabhadra In Digambara, they moved to south during famous. They become famous under Bhadrabahu. Second, the clothing of Shvetambara was they wear simple white clothes. Digambaras, they do not wear clothes, believing nudity is essential for liberalism. Some women's salvation when it comes to Shvetambara is woman can attain moksha. Mallinatha, 19th Tirthankara was okay. Mallinatha was 19th Tirthankara was female. Okay, Digambara in Digambara, woman cannot achieve moksha. Mallinatha is considered as male in Digambara. Sacred text they follow original Jain agamas, angas and angabahya. Digambaras reject the authenticity of origin of agamas, follow the text of Acharya Kundacharya. The food for ideal representation in Shvetambaras is Tirthankara is depicted with clothes, ornaments, and eyes inserted. Tirthankara, whereas in Digambara, Tirthankaras were depicted nude, simple, without ornaments. Food for omnipresent, omniscient is omniscient beings that is Kevali continue to need food in Shvetambara. Omniscient beings in Kevali do not require food in case of Digambaras. Major subsects of Shvetambara are Murti Pujaka, Sthanakavashi, Tirthapati. In case of Digambara, Vishapanta, Tirapanta, Taranapanta, Samayipanta or Taranapanta. No. As we have seen some Buddhist councils and their king, date, president, and key contribution, we are here with some Jain councils. First and two councils were held. First Jain council was held at Pataliputra during 300 BC. The president was Tulabhadra. Key contributions are compilation of 12 Angas. Second Jain council was held at Vallabhi 512 AD. Devardi Shamarsana added 12 Upangas, minor sections. The Jain literature we can see they adopted Prakruti or to preach their doctrines and Ardhamagari, the language of common people to compose their religious text. 12 Angas that are Acharanga, Sutrakritanga, Sthananga, Samayanga, Bhagyavati Vakya. These are 12 Upangas are 12 Upangas, 10 Prakirnas, 6 Cheda Sutras, 4 Moola Sutras, 2 Chulikas Sutras. Vimala Suri's Paunamacharyam or Jaina Ramayana is her work is known as Vimala Suri's Paumacharyan is known as Jaina Ramayana. Some Tamil works that is Naladiyar, Jivika Chintamani, Neelakeshi. Some prominent authors of this Jainism are Bhadrabahu, Kalpasutra, Umaswati, Tattvavarta Sutra, Hemichandra, Yoga Shastra, Samantha Bhadra, Ratna Karanda Shavakara, Pushpadanta Buttabali, Shaktangam, Jinasena, Mahapurana. Important temples are at Ranakpuri, Rajasthan, Dilwara, Mount Abu, Shikarji, Jharkhand, Mount Mangitangi, Maharashtra, Ellora, cave number 32, Khajuraho, Udaigiri, Sita Panchal. Bahubali statue at Shravanabelagola by Chamundaraya in 981 CE belongs to Jainism. Mahamastabhisheka held here will be at every 12 years. Patron kings of Jainism are Bimbisara, Ajatashatru, Samprati, Chandragupta Maurya, Kharavela, Hatingupashasana, Kuksutavarma, Amoga Varsha, Srivarma, and Kumarapala. Jainism versus Buddhism. The key differences of Jainism and Buddhism. I'll catch up. I'm still studying. We are here at the last concept of Jainism, Buddhism, the difference between both of them. Aspect of Jainism, Buddhism, founder. The founder of Jainism was Mahavira, 599 to 527 BCE. He was the 24th Tirthankara. Founder of Buddhism was Gautama Buddha from 563 to 483 BCE. Belief in God. Jainism, there is no personal or creator God. Buddhism was neutral on existence of God. Varna system accepted with Maha Jainism accepted Varna system with karmic explanation, whereas Buddhism rejected it outright. Path to liberation according to Jainism was extreme penance and asceticism and three jewelries. Whereas in Buddhism, middle path, that is moderation and eightfold path was chosen. Next concept is soul and rebirth. Jainism believes in soul and transmigration. Buddhism denies permanent soul and rejects transmigration. Non-violence, that is ahimsa. According to Jainism, non-violence extreme strict to vegetarianism and non-violence in thought, word, and deed. Buddhism it emphasized non-violence, but less strict than Jainism. Monks may accept offerings of meat. Monastic order, very strict codes for monks and nuns. Monks were in Buddhism, monks live with moderation and preach Vinaya rules guide them. Symbol in Jainism is hand with wheel, ahimsa symbol. In Buddhism, that is Dharma Chakra, wheel of law. In Jainism, women in monastic like Digambaras do not allow female monks, but Shvetambaras allowed. When it comes to Buddhism, Buddha allowed one monks, that is bhikkhunis. Spread and influence of Jainism was limited mainly to India, whereas Buddhism was spread across Asia, Sri Lanka, Tibet, China, Japan, and Southeast Asia. Sacred texts of Jainism are Agamas, according to Shvetavaras, Purvas, the lost Digambara texts. In Buddhism, Tripitaka, Vinaya, Sutta, Avidhamma, Pitaka were the main literary texts, sacred texts. Final aim of religion of Jainism was attainment of Kevala Jnana, absolute knowledge, and moksha. According to Buddhism, final aim was attainment of nirvana, freedom from cycle of birth and death. Buddhism and Jainism transformed India's spiritual landscape while enriching its arts, architecture, and literature. Their core values of non-violence and compassion remain influenced worldwide. So this completes the chapter of Buddhism and Jainism. Next, here we are up to Magadha Empire. Magadha Empire, it is fifth in this. Magadha Empire really is big, which is having concepts of rise of Mahajanapadas, reasons of rise of large states in India, all the 16 Mahajanapadas, their location, their importance. Magadha Empire, which was the main first empire influenced. Next is Haryanka dynasty, Shishunaga dynasty, Nanda dynasty, Magadha dynasty, so Iranian invasion, Alexander invasion. After this completion, we will go to Mauryan Empire. First is Magadha. Next comes is Mauryan Empire. We can see Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka. Structure of Mauryan administration was given. Causes of decline of Mauryan Empire. Next concept is Central Asian conflict. Here we can see Indo-Greek, how they came to India. They ruled over other parts of India, and we can see some rulers as Demetrius, Menander, until the arrival of Central Asian tribes, the Sakas, the Parthians, the Kushanas. Amongst Kushanas, Kanishka was famous. Next is many other rulers. Mahayana Buddhism when it comes to Kanishka. Next chapter is the Shatavahanas. Important rulers of Shatavahana dynasty, amongst them Simukha, Gautamiputra Shatakarni, Vishishtaputra Pulwami, Yagneshri Shatakarni, King Hala, some material culture, agriculture, social organization, administration, religion, architecture, language and literature, some key inscriptions, prominent scholars, and decline of Shatavahanas. This can be seen. Next comes is Gupta Empire. Gupta Empire, reasons for the Gupta rise, major rulers of Gupta dynasty, Sri Gupta, Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, Chandragupta II, other later rulers of this dynasty, administrative structures, empires, economic systems, land taxes, grants, agriculture, irrigation, trade, mining, coinage, society, religion, judicial system, art, literature, architecture, science and education. Here we see importance of Nalanda University, and lastly decline of Gupta. Next comes is Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana post Gupta disintegration and rise of Pushabhuti. Pushabhuti was founder, and the main dynasty rulers are Prabhakara Varma, Rajavardhana, Harshavardhana. The key details of Harshavardhana Empire, his military campaigns, Harshavardhana's empire and China relations, epigraphic records, administration, revenue system, judicial system, urban and welfare work, religion culture, women, society, caste, education culture. From prominent foreign travelers to India in time of Harshavardhana, it is Megasthenes, Fahin, Huinsam. So this completes Harshvardhana. Next comes is Kingdoms of South. From Kingdoms of South, we can see Chalukyas of Badami, most famous rulers. And then we can see Pallavas, all the important dynasties, Vakataka dynasties, other dynasties, Kadambas, all can be seen. Next comes is Sangama age. In Sangama age, we can see three Sangamas, main assemblies, Sangamas, economy. Prominent dynasties were Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas. Next, we can see prominent important technologies of Vedic period. We can see Purandara is a breaker of fort, Nivoy is special type of widow remarriage, Govikartana is forest ship. These words are important, usually asked. Some Vedic period of Buddhism, we can see some words are Dukkha, Bhanda, Mahamudra. These are the words Magadha and Maurya. All this chapter till Sangama age, we have these meanings. Next we'll go to early medieval period. Then onwards there is introduction of Pala Empire, among the most prominent rulers. Next we can see Gurjara Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, other dynasties, notably Chandalas of Bundelkhand, Paramaras, Tomar of Delhi, Chauhans of Rajasthan, Gahad Belawad of Kanuj, Kalachuris of Tripuri, Solankis of Gujarat. Eastern and northeastern kings are Karkotiyas or Utpala dynasty, Assam dynasty. Next is Sena's Bengal dynasty, Eastern Gangas from Odisha, dynasty of Deccan and South India. We can see Chalukyas of Kalyani, Yadavas of Devgiri, Kakatiyas, Cholas 9th to 13th century, Hoysalas, Pandyas of Madurai. So these are all the major medieval history events. Next is advent of Islams in India. Arab inroads from 7th to 8th century. Ghaznavis in India 10th to 11th centuries. Ghurid, the Ghaznavis among Ghaznavis, Muhammad Ghazni. Ghurid expansion of India 12th century, that is Muhammad Ghor. Cultural and religious impact and the significance. Next concept in the medieval history of India is Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate, we can see dynasties under Delhi Sultanate, that is Mamluk dynasty, that is slave dynasty, starts from 1206 to 1290 AD. Kutubuddin Aibak as a major ruler, Raja Sultan, Balban. Next dynasty is Khalji dynasty, 1290 to 1320. Major rulers are Jalaluddin Khilji, Alauddin Khilji. Next, Tughlaq dynasty, we can see Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, founder, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Some achievements: Firoz Shah, Sikandar Shah, Nasruddin Shah, all these rulers. Next is Sayyid dynasty, that is Khizr Khan, Muhammad Shah, Alam Shah. Next is Lodi dynasty, Bahula Lodi, Sikandar Lodi, and Ibrahim Lodi. Some administrative reforms under Delhi Sultanate, central administration, art and architecture and literature influence in Buddha. Next comes is Vijayanagara and Bahmani, rise of new kingdoms. Vijayanagara Empire in 1336 and Bahmani Sultanate in 1347. What are the major dynasties in the Vijayanagara kingdom? Vijayanagara Empire have four major dynasties: Sangama, Salwa, Tuluva, Aravidu. Their rulers, famous rulers: Harihara, Bukka, Krishnadevaraya. Next is they followed some administrative Ashtadiggajas. Bahmani kingdom establishment, Alauddin Bahman Shah Hassan Gangur in 1347. Their territorial expansion, major kingdoms of this are founder of this all these five kingdoms, and all the famous rulers like Adil Shah of Bijapur, Ahmad Shah Abdali, some Alauddin Hassan Bahman Shah. Next is Mughal Empire from 1526 to 1857. Mughal emperors, how they came, who were the famous rulers, and starting from Humayun ending till Shah Alam II. Major rulers were Shah Jahan, Akbar, Babur, Jahangir, all these Aurangzeb, Jalandhar Shah, Bahadur Shah, all these famous rulers. Under Babur, all were Akbar, Sher Shah Suri. Then you can see Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan, decline. Why there was a decline of Mughal Empire? What are the contributions of Mughals to art, painting, literature, administration, economic development, gardens and urban designs, education, science and technology? The next comes is Marathas in this chapter. Marathas, by origin and leadership led by Shivaji in 1670, extended their rule to Tanjavur. The Maratha consolidation and Peshwa era. Bajirao I, Balaji Bajirao, later developments in Anglo-Maratha was 1, 2, 3 from 1775 to till 1819. Maratha governance and the revenue systems, military and judicial structures, guerrilla tactics were famous warfares, Peshwa administration and bureaucracy, decline of Maratha Empire, Treaty of Peace in Anglo-Maratha War, all this kind of. Next is Bhakti movement. We can see features, forms of Bhakti, Saguna, Nirguna, the Bhakti saints and their origin, the deity they worshipped, famous Bhakti saints like Adi Shankaracharya, Namdeva, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Ramananda, Kabira, Guru Nanaka, Chaitanya, Vallabhacharya, Vidyapati, Purandaradasa, Mirabai, Surdas, Tulsidas, Shankaradeva, Dadu Dayal, Tyagraj, Jnaneshwara, Namadeva, Ekanatha, Tukarama, Ramdas, Janabai. Sufi movement, the growth of Sufi movement, prominent Sufi saints like Khwaja Ali, Gujwari, Sheikh Bohuddin Jigarai, Khwaja Mohuddin Chishti, Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, Sheikh Faruddin Samarkandi, Khwaja Bhakti Billah, Sheikh Niruddin Wali. Next is travelers and their views. Al-Baruni was Qajari in Uzbekistan, Ibn Battuta from Morocco. Next, Francis Bernier from France, Jean Baptiste Taverner from France, Abdur Razak Samarkandi from Timurid Court, Marco Polo from Italy, Al-Musidi from Arab polemic, Minaj Shah, Persian historian, Niccolo di Conti, Venetian merchant, Afnasi Nikitin, Russian merchant, Dorati Barbosa, Portuguese, Domingo Paz, Portuguese horse dealer, Anato Monsalto, Spanish Jesuit, Peter Munde, English East India Company, Sir Thomas Roy, English ambassador. Some important terminology or technology of all these Mughal Empire as Patwari is accountant, Mirayars is officer in chief, Muftis is legal experts, Delhi Sultan is Tanka silver coin, Dinas is gold coin, Chital is copper coins, Cholas, that is Vellada is agriculturist, Jivitas is land, Vijayanagara and Bahmani kingdom, Sist is land tax, Perta is half of Varaha, Nados is district, Bhakti movement, Alvara is devotees of Vishnu, Nayanar is devotees of Shiva, Sufi movement, Murid followers, Marathas, Chauth is tax levied on Shivaji on the regions aligned to his kingdom. Next, so here we have these all chapters to cover starting from ancient India. We just covered early history, Vedic Vedas and all, Buddhism and Jainism. We have just completed Magadha Empire to start. So thank you all. I watched live, supported and all. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. I'm just ending the live. I'll come back with new chapters. Thank you.